Cafe, your place for radiant wellness and soul-forward living. Join your host, Jess Juntinen, quantum healer, intuitive, and midwife to the awakening spirit, as we dive into quantum tools, wisdom teachings, and integrated healing pathways for transformation. You can live a life of freedom to be without limitation. Cozy up, grab your tea, and enjoy this hour of expansion, wisdom, and love. Namaste, hello, and welcome to Soul Fusion Cafe. Another Tuesday at noon Eastern Time, coming to you here live with Soul Forward Living, the Yoga of Self-Ascension, and Expansion. So this week is, September is gearing up, and we're in this incredible energy, building to the full moon, building to when the retrograde goes full on, having this moment of really having to relax all of our judgments, because that's what's in front of all of us, and I've been really reflecting with a lot of the teachings and sharings that are provided through Master Lady Kira Ra, wisdom teacher Sri Ram Ka. Those are my teachers and mentors. Anything I share here resonates with you, definitely check them out. They're here at Oneness Talk Radio, and their shows on Sundays at noon Eastern. Go grab it, go watch it, because there's so much to track with that. Every day is a new energy and a new building. And during Kira's share, it's true. We're in a time we have not made it to before. We've never lived in this experience in this way. That is a celebration. That is a moment. And it is a moment to take a real breath. It's the energies that are present and alive in this moment that could be seeking to stop you, that could be seeking to disturb your joy or take you away from the truth of that of which you are. And it's so fascinating, because I'm seeing internet connection on my end right now too that are having a little challenge. So it's a fascinating moment, because I feel like we've been in this Mercury retrograde already. We've been in the pre-phase, and it is very fun because all of the technology, all the communications, all those things are having their moment, right? And as you're tuning in over at Facebook Live or at YouTube, welcome. Or if you're catching the recording, perfect. I will grab things in the chat time to time. If you have a question or something you want to share, please throw it in the chat and enjoy hanging out there with each other. So, to me, I feel very much like this is a moment that we're being asked to really step forward and level up. And it's that moment where sitting on the fence does not serve us anymore. To be on the fence is to be very uncomfortable. Just make a choice whether you want to choose completely diving into the fear, chaos, and all of that that's so present for us, and just do things in the old way. That's totally legitimate, but make the choice, or jump off the other side and jump into your greatest expansion. But the fence is what's really uncomfortable. We have to make a choice one way or the other, and then keep taking action steps. And I think if you're tuning in today, you're probably on the side where you want to jump off the fence and feel like you have your wings, and that you are absolutely expanding and flowing in this moment and calling in the miracles that are your birthright. Because the yoga of self-ascension is the pathway to peace, love, joy, through that foundation of the sincerity, love, and presence that we bring in every moment. And when we really anchor it, if you really practice with the yoga of self-ascension, it's a non-dogmatic path. It is a pathway that honors and recognizes the divinity within you, that's the unique blueprint that you are. And when you do embrace that, when you really remember that you're not just a body, you're not just the thoughts and the emotions, they want to compete and be what's real all the time, right? But when we really are able to relax and understand and know within that that's not who we really are, that we are the I am, that I am presence of the one that is guiding at all times, that we can tap into that wisdom, we can understand it, we can lift into our ascended heart chakra and expand, and miracles do become our birthright. Things come into our path. The synchronicities, the miracles, the magic, how things show up, we open to that flow more and more by anchoring our ascended heart. So yoga self-ascension is this roadmap that just really assists us to apply it to our own individual experience so that we can come home to ourselves. And the amount of miracles and things happening, I think it is always so important that we celebrate the moments and the achievements and the things that have come forward for us, because sometimes we don't stop and just celebrate, like, wow, I am here, like I'm here, I'm alive, I'm breathing air. And not only that, but look at all the miracles that are around me all the time, and the more we recognize them, the more others can come forward, you know. So I'm really excited today because I thought it would be really great to start bringing in some guests that could share their miracle presence with all of us as examples of being the yoga of self-ascension, is ones that are carrying the energy of the I am and know it and are embodying it and bringing miracles into their life, because there's nothing more incredible than witnessing the miracles within one another, and in that sharing, reigniting the remembrance of the miracle presence that we are. So today I've got an incredible guest that's come in to join us. I'm going to bring her in. Let's see, Lorraine. Come on in, Lorraine. Namaste and welcome.
Namaste. Thank you to be here.
I'm so grateful that you are here with us. So grateful. And you look amazing and you are glowing, you know. And Lorraine, I've just had the honor and pleasure of knowing you through our community. And, you know, for those of you that are not part of the TOSA community, if you're tuning in here, we have a robust, incredible community of beings that come together in many different ways. I mean, we have classes, we have our Sunday services, and we also have Divine Mastery Presence, which is a journey that those beings that really said in 2022, like, I'm doing this no matter what. And they selected to join this group. And it's so powerful. And I've gotten to know Lorraine through that group and experience. And Lorraine, I just bow before you because you have shared the blessing that is the yoga of self-ascension, and you have demonstrated and modeled so incredibly what it can do in our lives, that I just felt like it would be incredible to have you here today to share with our community and our audience your journey, and may that ignite and inspire others as well in their journey. So really, I thank you again so much for being here and being open to sharing. And let me know, how are you doing today? Tell everybody.
Namaste, Jess. Namaste, beloved community. Feeling quite well today, given that I'm from a major surgery. So I jumped off the fence. That really resonated with me. I was ready to jump off the fence and just dive into these sort of a lot of different layers of that are trying to get in the way, even just getting off. But now I just kind of laugh at it because it's part of the blessing, right? Is being able to see perspective, and even sure that I could come on with you today. I wasn't sure I'd feel wonderful right now. I feel so blessed to be here. I'm holding my rod, which I've been signaling. Though just being a part of our divine timing, every right in alignment with something very significant. I've had a very physical journey. I think is one of the gifts that I bring in my physical journey, and self-ascension has very much how I have transcended my physical experiences. I could keep sharing. Start with that. just how honored just today to be here with you. So
Thank you. I'm going to hop in for one just quick second because I want to just capture some of what you're sharing. And I know our connection is still like we're hearing you, but yeah, we're just bearing with our Mercury retrograde moment, but we are receiving everything you're sharing. And in that sharing, I'm so grateful you are here today. Lorraine is going through a lot of it's the experience of a journey of healing and going through quite a lot of surgery, intensity, emotion, things that have been happening, and you've been navigating it pretty seamlessly. So what does, and I love that you have your rods. She's got her Egyptian healing rods, and we're going to get Lorraine into our global Minga Heartbeat for Peace lineup as well, because she's got so many gifts to share. So besides the rods, clearly, right, what is it that has really guided you on this journey as you've been experiencing all of the medical challenges and things you've had to navigate and surf? How are you sourcing? How are you going? And what are some of the miracles that have happened through this?
Thing in particular that has been a step of my journey, especially this right here, has been the teachings. This has been right my right side companion, living each chapter for the 8 months. I've every chapter in my life this year so far. How long I've been listening to Sri and Kira when I was probably at one of my lower points of had just finished 3 years of intensive and on player had just gotten a traumatic. I was literally in a place where I could not. I was in the dark, literally in the dark. Literally, other humans are really do much except. And what I saw the opportunity to research what I was that I was capable of healing myself, being presented with a unique opportunity to connect with, believe that that I just needed to access the tools. And it was I was listening to various healers, and it was a head injury, so I couldn't see.
Okay. One moment. I'm going to try something just because I want everyone to hear you, Lorraine, and we're getting like this choppy interference keeps coming in. I'm going to see what happens when I toggle camera off for a second. Okay, we can hear you. Let me see if that improves at least your streaming or not. No, we can't hear you then. Can you turn your camera off on your end?
We'll see if I can do that. Yeah.
Because that might help. She's got a thunderstorm happening where she's at right now, guys. So hold tight. Let's see.
Better.
Yeah, there's like a weird static that's coming through, but let's see. Do the mantra of self-ascension for us as a test.
Is that any better? Still talking.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's a little bit choppy for sure. Give me the mantra of self-ascension a few times and let's see how it sounds.
I am ready. I am guide me.
Yeah, it is. It's
I'm
still
actually
choppy. It's
so
still a little
choppy.
choppy. Can you maybe I'll continue the show. I don't know if do you have a phone you can just try coming in on? Perhaps like your data Wi-Fi combo might work out on a phone if you use that link and come back in.
Okay, I will try.
You could try that and I'll just like continue and then you'll pop up in the back end and we'll bring you back in and try it again because
Okay.
and whatever the way we'll get this so that your sharing is out there, but I want to make sure people really get to hear it. So try that. Let's try that.
I will
So disconnect here and come on back and we'll bring you back in. Okay. Perfect. So Lorian is so incredible. So I really do hope we get to have her come in and have her share. So fascinating and interesting right before the show went on. One computer's down, there's a storm, there's everything else. And it's that moment you got to smile. Mercury retrograde, you got to smile, you know? So let's see. I hope that we get her back in. Otherwise, we're going to get her back another time. But because her story is absolutely a testament, and it is this moment of miracle presence that's so alive. And like we were sharing, we're building to the full moon, and I will have a full moon ceremony. I will have it up at my website. I will send you a newsletter because I'll be at Tosa Blue Mountain on the full moon. I am actually totally mind blown that I leave in just 2 days to return down to Tosa Blue Mountain and Ecuador and prepare for the September event and this equinox moment. And that's the other thing, is that this full moon really amplifies everything that's going to happen for us at that equinox moment. So let's see. I see Lorraine's popping back in the background. Let's see what happens here when we try to bring you in on your phone. Hey, Lorraine.
Hello. Is that any better? Any better?
It's a lot better so far. There isn't the like background sound that we were having a moment ago. So I think we might be doing pretty good.
I'm ready. I'm ready when you are.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much. Lorraine, bless your soul, because she's been playing along here for like the last 20 minutes as we've been trying to problem solve and get on here. So I think we're in a pretty good spot where we're hearing you clearly and there isn't the feedback. It might have a slight delay, but that's okay because we're hearing you very clearly. So I would like you to take us back to this, moment where you've been sharing about how you have created that healing in your own experience and journey through this. So I'm going to let you have the floor on this and share, please.
I was sharing that when Sri was a time where in my life I was at what I would perceive or when a low point. It was right after I had finished 3 years of intense cancer and had just actually acquired a traumatic brain. So I was in a space where actually literally many of my senses could not be used except my senses. Started researching and listening to people who had healed them. My awareness and my knowing was that that everything that was happening to direct me inward so that I could have a deeper connection with my higher self and learn how to heal myself and eventually teach others how to do the same. I knew that. And, having a head injury, being physically distraught, and did create and open up the space for me that I would not have otherwise had, a busy family life and a full-time job. My life had suddenly shut in a way that would allow me to facilitate researching and finding who spoke my truth. And in that intention, I found Sri and Kira to them. And although I was being told many things about physically, about the many medications I needed to be on for the rest of my life, injury might affect my future and my just a lot of negative future. I've always been blessed with the ability to see that doesn't have to be my truth, and to know that I felt that there was a higher reason for it. Came across Sri and Kira. They spoke my truth. It's like it was just like the light at the end of the tunnel, and just beings that spoke my truth. How beautiful! And as they were so healing. It was just so wonderful to be able to. And as I've progressed through this journey and dropped all other recommended supposed to be on, and really the only medicine I'm taking at the moment is the medicine and the yoga of self-ascension. Um, the yoga of self-ascension just validates and validates and speaks my truth. It's and not only that, but has offered such rich knowings and tools and validations and in so many ways, so many beautiful ways, have enhanced, and brought to just gave me a very concrete, very visceral, very tools that I now use. I'm now 7 years away from my cancer, healthier than I think I ever was before it. Um, so I just feel like I'm an example of the yoga of self ascension, and it just continues to be a miraculous journey. I'm so thankful for what I've learned, and as an evasive medical, just that knowledge and just partaking in that course was also just such and has offered layers of perspective that have just transcended me journey. So the fact that I'm here and then most people would project that I ought to be healing. Just here with you that continue to come in the way. I just feel so blessed because it's because of my the support that I receive in my ability tools and this beautiful knowing, this beautiful ability to recontextualize, to see the greater purpose of it all, and almost be able to chuckle at it. And it's miraculous, and to feel like everything is lighter and easier. So because life is still happening, but it's so much easier with this living and embodying this practice of the yoga of self-ascension. And phenomenal. Have been such an integral part of my healing as well.
There are no accidents, right? Like I love that you were so open that you came across the teachings and the yoga self-ascension and your soul recognized it. That's one thing I just want to like grab out of what you're sharing, because that's the experience I had as well. And so many beings, when you find and stumble across, right, these teachings and Shri and Kira and what they're offering, there's a recognition deep inside that says, okay, this is this is speaking to my truth. I'm recognizing the truth and what is being mirrored back to me. And you have this rapid up level when you are ready for it, and you come across these teachings. And then the other part that you've been just really modeling that self-ascension, like living it, and you are a model because you have been living it. And as Lorraine was sharing, it's like she did the invasive medical intuitive program. I'm like there's not anything more perfect you could have done for yourself to support yourself through this journey, and your courage and tenacity through it all. And without the yoga of self-ascension, who knows what the experience really would have been on the other side of that. But because of your like just focused commitment and seeing the experience, there's something I want to go to that you shared in a moment, because you said you just had a knowing inside of you, that you weren't really just accepting a diagnosis or just accepting like that there was this outcome that had to come from it. And it, Shri talks about it in Evasive Medical Intuitive, as and anyone that has taken this program, we are not, if it's cancer, it's not, this is those powerful statements of like the I am, right? And instead of claiming and owning like I have a terminal diagnosis, or I have cancer, or I have whatever, it's I'm having an experience, I'm experiencing, I'm cancering, like Shri would say. Like it's an experience, something we're moving through, but not the definition of who we are. So for you, share with the listeners what inside of you like did have that unknowing always, that something in you knew, like I wasn't just accepting this diagnosis and whatever labels are being put on me, or that there's no way to heal this outside of like just treatment of symptoms and whatever they're going to do at the hospital. What inside of you what voice was that?
That was my divine mastery self. you and I have no doubt in my mind. I've always known that. Ever since I came to this, that's something I can absolutely positively say. And to have the valid history and cure about this has been, I mean, because I certainly didn't get that from the family. I love them, but I just didn't have that knowing. I knew, and I very known, in my upbringing and in knowing and feeling and just always knowing that. As far as my, I knew that it. I, when I got diagnosed time, because I was actually at peak health. I was probably the healthiest and the most I had ever been, and so sort of was in a point in my life that so I was shocked when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. It was such a shocking moment. Sense. The only thing was that I was being offered an opportunity, highest self, and because at that time I had been calling that forward, prior calling forward the desire to connect on a higher level. At the time, it was with Jesus, Catholic at the time, and and Jesus didn't make too much sense to me, nor did my just opened up a whole another layer of awareness for me. A beautiful, beautiful layer, because I had been praying and asking for that. I wanted a deeper, what I considered to be my higher source in that moment.
I'm going to jump in there on that too, because that's incredible. And I want you to finish, but I want to jump in quick because that's so important for listeners to hear that too, that you're in that moment. And here's where it comes. And I know you're going here too, is like the most kind of tragic news a lot of people are ever going to hear, right? It's like you get that diagnosis and it's so shocking. You're healthy, there's no reason to even think you would have to be concerned about it. And it jolts you out of all your plans, all your everything, your whole entire world gets turned upside down. Immediately, you don't just go straight to like, this opened a door and I'm grateful. I know you had to go through your entire moment in a dark night. However, like you share, it's like we never know how the universe is going to show up. Our soul doesn't feel pain like our physical body does, and our emotions and mental body. Shri was sharing with us on the Sunday service where I was on with him last weekend. It's like our soul does, it's all good to the soul, it's all learning, it's all incredible, it's not good or bad or anything else, but it's the being here that has to deal with moving through all of that. But in that request of like, I wanted more, like I knew that there was more in my connection with the divine, that there was this opening, and that through such a challenge, like the biggest challenge of your life, you found that opening. And what was that moment like for you to, that must have been extremely um, expanding for your consciousness, your awareness, and you stepped into something. What, like, really, what for you was that moment like, and what were you able to be aware of as you were expanding into this greater presence of the master that you are?
Full moment, indeed. It was such um, it was a moment of my human needed to be human and dated and to cry and to be shocked, but the other part, the divine mastery part of me, that was awake and present, because I had literally just like 2 weeks prior made a set in a course I was taking. I was taking a meditation course, and we were to make a goal. And I said I wanted a deeper connection with Jesus and the divine in me. 2 weeks later, I was diagnosed with cancer. So for me, it was an answer to my devastated and awful and human as I was feeling in that moment. Because I was also there was a knowing in my heart. It was like, I know, it was like light in the head. Like, it's time. Like, this is the journey. You asked for it. Here it is. Happened, all my treatments happened to be around Easter, which is, the cross. For me, it was just so symbolic and so specific. That addition of being extremely human and immersed in the devastation of being, that was the beautiful, sort of the contrast and the stage for me to open up to my divine mastery self. Like I knew it. and so I, what happened then too is I also knew in many ways, but in that instantaneous moment, I also knew I was meant. It was for me to share my gifts like no other. And the way I embraced my breast cancer journey was filled with light, because I used it as a venue, honestly, for me to then to really embrace my gifts and healing myself. I was embarking on a new journey and in a new, pain has a way of really pulling you into, at least pain has a way of pulling me into the present. Just something I've learned from all my physical pains is that there is nothing more powerful to pull you into the present moment. And therein lie the gifts. I started a Facebook page called Lorraine's Big Pink Adventure. That's when I met Joan Lennon, my page. That's when I started writing songs, because I am a singer too. I wrote songs about breast cancer, so was not only healing myself, but was touching the lives of many others out there who didn't really know how to put into words what we were going through and how we were feeling. Started to get a following on my page of many people who just were feeling touched. I decided to sort of traverse through my breast cancer experience, very much the beginning, of my connection to my divine mastery self. So that's, I guess, I don't know if that answered your question.
That's kind of so incredible. It answered my question and more. I mean, just like the testament of what it is to stand in your mastery presence and that knowing that guided you through every step. So tell us too about, because you did bring healing in. You did absolutely heal yourself in so many ways, in different ways during this journey. Please share with us.
Yeah, I could have continued to work, could have continued my job through the treatments. I chose not to, because my body and healing my body and focusing on that was more important. And in in everything I experienced through breast cancer, and the treatments were certainly debilitating and difficult physically. And I would allow myself to honor that. And I would start thinking of lyrics. I would start jotting down. I allowed whatever I was feeling to come through me. I started making YouTube videos. I started my Facebook page, and I just started expressing myself. And in doing so, Vine was pouring through me. And I really, what started as a Facebook, my family and friends of what I was going through, became a platform of warriors going through the same thing. It really became something I didn't even expect it to. And my expressions, my artistic expressions, my songs, and to launch into all these other directions, I started being invited to perform at various venues, for breast cancer. I was invited to be a role model, modeling things for breast cancer. So all of a sudden I was launched into this. It was almost surreal to me. It almost became fun. And it's very strange to say that it became like this big pink glamorous rainbow that I was suddenly I didn't expect to be on, and I was flooded with love and support, flooded with people I wouldn't have even expected to have known or come across. So because I honored and respected my body and my nature and honor and decided to just stay very present with it, many gifts came through. So that was very powerful and very healing, very, very healing. It just felt like that it was carrying me through some very challenging times, or that many warriors have to endure. But did by the knowing that that divine, and I was here to share that.
Oh my goodness. So, I mean, like I could go in so many directions from what you're sharing, and there's so much love happening in the chat for you, and people just are like amazing and hugs and love, and your journey and your sharing is so inspiring. And I didn't even know all of, I know a lot of your journey, you've shared a lot, but some of this is new to me too. And just I bow before you even more. You're so incredible. And what comes to mind is that victim triangle. And again, Sunday show, Shri was just talking about this, like go back and watch it. But like you had an opportunity where you could have easily been, and I'm sure you had to walk through that moment. Are we a victim of this circumstance, right? A circumstance comes in that we can't really do anything about. Like, I mean, it's there, it's a circumstance, and we decide how we're going to move through it and work with it. But in that victim triangle, you could just sit there and be stuck. And something you said there was like, you found yourself in this position because of your journey where you were and are the healer, teacher, mentor. You are the ascended energy of that consciousness when it transforms and you become the one that is the teacher, mentor, and healer. And because you're sharing your gifts and speaking and writing music and becoming this light that inspired so many, you are that example of breaking free and choosing. Like that's getting off the fence. Like I'm going to choose for this journey to be not only healing for me, but wow, like discovering that you are supporting the healing of so many, and actually even in the midst of something that would be very challenging and difficult, you're having fun in the ability to be able to support others and bring your gifts forward. So, I mean, there is just nothing like this in your sharing that just demonstrates that the yoga of self-ascension really, if we just stick with that, we will have those moments where you pop and you have the inspiration, the gratitude, the support, everything, and you've healed so much in your body. It's miraculous. It's the things that the medical world would be like, that's not possible. Everything you're doing is not possible. And you are here saying, look, it is.
Yeah.
I'm evidence of that.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. No, the victim triangle. Wow. Did I really? I mean, I felt like I was immersed in the breast cancer world. There is a lot of spiritual activism, a lot of fighting. It's about the fight, and it never for me was about the fight. I could never fighting against this cancer, and many of the organizations and come a part of. I felt honored to be a part of them, but I really did not or resonate in the same way that many of these groups were kind of fighting against cancer, curing cancer and find I that's just not the way I saw it. And I was able to sort of, and there was no spiritual approach to anything. healing methods that I came across. No awareness or no tapping into that resource at all. Awareness for myself, just looking around and saying, wow, this is such a prevalent, no one here, no one in these organizations or foundations mentions anything about heal, and how, and, and or mentions anything about embracing, or, just all the beautiful divine tools that we are offered through the yoga of self-ascension. There's such that in that world. So that was also a blessed and sacred I received in my experience of breast cancer ring, was how small a population it is of us that are aware, and for there to be more awareness.
Yeah.
Obviously, I still have that as a of mine in my just in my future and my path. I hope to bring more access to this healing to those who are going through the breast cancer sickness journey, is to know is just the knowings and the through the yoga of self-ascension.
Thank you so much, because I know this is a springboard here. There may be somebody tuning in right now or in the future that needs to hear exactly what you're sharing. And, it's, I think you're only going to go out there and shine even more and provide that voice and that opportunity. We are actually the mainstream. We really actually are the mainstream. However, in density, most people aren't cued into what the mainstream actually is, and everyone's so asleep, and it's such an interesting point you bring up. It's just like, where are those other answers for people that are out there combing and searching, and that there's this, of course, this energy around the fighting, and yeah, the victim triangle, because you have to be a victim of this circumstance and go to battle with the cancer, and all of that. And it's so beautiful that that's where a lot of beings are with it. But where is that um opening for the ones that are like ready to be empowered through the experience and use it as that springboard, like you have, in order to heal, transcend, and actually open up to your greater, wider gifts and your miracle presence, and all of that. Because I know your journey and what you're sharing, people need to hear that. And please keep sharing that, and anything else. We need to get your story up on our page. We need to get that out there from our end. That was part of why I wanted you to join in today too, was just to increase the awareness around what's possible and what we can actually achieve through honoring ourselves, our divine nature, and trusting ourselves enough to be guided to those answers and support and solutions. And it's that commanding of the light. It's that I am not the experience that would want to be put on me as a label. I'm having an experience as this ascended spiritual being on this earthly form, but it's not defining me. And because of you and your steadfast commitment, focused awareness, complete trust, and embodying self ascension, you've just demonstrated to everybody here and beyond, we are so capable of transcending anything that would try to stop us on this planet. So I just, again, bow before you. Thank you for saying yes. Thank you for everything you are doing. I see all the beings you are supporting, seen and unseen, through your miracle presence. So, Lorraine, any last things you want to share with us? What do you want to leave us with here today?
Oh, I have self-ascension. I'm so thankful for it, as it just offers the words and the thoughts and the support that we need at this time, and bring from any physical ailment. Just please remember, that pain is an opportunity to
Mm.
is a calling to go inward. It truly is. And if you can see it from that perspective, and if you can embrace offered through the yoga of self-ascension, it is truly miraculous and can be the deciding factor between life and death. And that is my experience. I know that's dramatic, but it's true. And that's my experience. It is absolutely a choice, a beautiful choice, a miraculous choice. And I pray that who is receiving this message and who is suffering in any physical way, please go to the tools and the strategies. It's like nothing else, and it is such a blessing. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh. Namaste. We love you. I love you. I know I'm going to hug you in person one of these days. I can't wait for that moment. And just, again, all the love and support that I know everyone's here in the chat and everyone that watches this after, everyone is so honored and blessed to be connecting with you in your presence. And thank you. Keep sharing this. Keep living it. I know you are. And I look forward to the next time we are together, because we will be together again. So thank you, Lorraine, for joining us. We love you. Namaste.
Love you. Okay.
Oh my goodness. So incredible. You guys, thank you again, Lorraine, for being on with us as our guest today in that demonstration that's law of instantaneous manifestation, creating miracles, creating a different outcome than what the world would seek to put on you, that would seek to define you, and saying, I'm not going to accept that as the definition of who I am, and the knowing and the tenacity and the courage to keep looking. And, none of us is in our sharings. It's like, yes, we all have a unique story, yet nothing is ever, isolated, because in one person's sharing and what they experience and walk through and the miracles they create only demonstrates to the rest of us what we're capable of doing. And each one of us that does, you want to help the planet, you want to help the other beings that are here, you want to support the upliftment. Well, do your work. It all starts with ourself. Like our beautiful guest, it's like when something massive happens in our life that just takes out everything else and all of our focus is there is a real gift in that moment. It's just like, yep, all of a sudden work doesn't matter, all the other things that we were so worried about, because all of our attention, and Lorraine said too, the pain, it's just like you have to be present. Our body is the ultimate, truth detector. We have to be present to it. And it's that call that says you can't put your attention anywhere else. It needs to be here. And it's the master's call. And that there's that example of, like, no matter what happens in our life, in the moment, we might not recognize it immediately as a gift. But the faster we do say, hey, this is an opportunity, there is a real gift here, even if I don't exactly know yet, but you have that inkling, it's something big, and it could come in so many ways. And it's just, to me, there is no path like the yoga of self-ascension, because it's not ever telling you, it doesn't tell you what to do. It provides guideposts, it provides tools, it provides a map that you can use for your journey home. But you are the one that is discovering the truth of who you are for you. No one's telling you what that is. And therein lies the fun and the miracles and the magic, when we can honestly just allow ourselves to be present and open to our own journey and use this map for our own, the way that we connect with the divine and our source. Surrender, releasing judgment, unconditional love, and being in union. That's the 4 steps of the yoga of self-ascension, and we are in one of those at any given time. Any moment, we are in one of those steps and flows. And this is a huge moment of the release judgment in September. September's asking us, are you going to release all of your judgments about how it has to look, how it has to be, who you are, the labels, everything else? We get to break free. The past is the past. Labels, conditions, anything that is seeking to stop you right now is just part of that illusion that can disintegrate so quickly when you release all of the judgment around it having to be different, should have, could have, would have, accept where we are in the exact moment we are in, forgive ourselves, forgive others, and have gratitude for whatever is being shown us. And we will continually uplift and more miracles rush into our life, giving us the evidence that it's possible and true. Our brain relaxes more, our ego relaxes more, going, okay, I'm getting this now, and we are able to propel ourselves even further forward. So it's incredible and exciting. I love hearing sharings and stories about how the yoga of self-ascension really works in your life, and anyone else that has something that they want to share, or miracle or energy, go ahead, email me, jess@selfascensionstudios.com. Would love to hear about it. If you have something you want to share on the air, please let me know. It would be incredible to have your miracle presence being part of our show, because I know so many of you out there are creating miracles. And if you're in a moment where you're feeling like, oh, I know that's all possible, but I'm like so stuck right now, go back and re-listen to this episode. Go listen to the last Sunday service that Shri and I had. Tune in every day at 6 p.m. Eastern at Official Shri and Kira, where I'm there with Shri and a member of our community every day sharing about the gifts of the yoga of self-ascension. Go to Facebook, Official Shri and Kira. Get on there. Tune in with us. We'll be there tonight live with another special guest and some incredible topics. There's support here. There's love here. There are tools. There are other beings. And even if it feels like we aren't the mainstream, we are. And let's just keep reminding each other and holding each other through this moment. So loving you all. Have an incredible afternoon. I'll see you at Tosa Blue Mountain probably the next time that we tune in to the show. That's where I'll be next couple days. We'll be right here, of course, 6 p.m. Eastern, continuing for the next 13 days as we build to the equinox. Pyramid of Peace consecration. Go to shrinkira.com, get your tickets so you can watch and be there live to that experience as well. A lot happening. So thank you all again. Namaste. Many, many blessings, and see you soon. You've been listening to Soul Fusion Cafe with Jess Juntanen. Connect with Jess and learn more at her inspiration hub, selfascensionstudios.com, and over on Instagram at JoyLoveJess and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio, or over at Facebook at Self-Ascension Studios and Soul Fusion Cafe Radio. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Namaste and many blessings.